The Vendor of Sweets by R.K. Narayan, one of the novels prescribed for your O-level examination. So, majority of Sri Lankan O-level students prefer this novel. Otherwise, you have no other option that you go for the Vendor of Sweets because you don't like the other two. Otherwise, you select the other novel because you don't like this. This sort of a narrow selection is given, but still, we had been studying this. Students have been studying this for a long time, and this year, maybe the next year also, that we are going to study this novel. And one thing, many comments show that they have a moderation regarding the novel. Some say that I don't like it, but I feel I want to do it because of the examination purpose. But once you go into the novel, you find that this novel is sort of interesting because when it comes to literature, people believe that literature is sort of a subject that people can't reach. In my time, I never wanted to do literature because there was a set of people, right? Set of maybe, especially girls. I went to a mixed school. They went to literature, sort of a subject called literature. I did not know, and I had a little sort of critical feeling regarding that, believing it's like Shakespeare, sort of upper class people, sort of big shots study literature. Um, General public would not do it like. But it is quite different now. By and by, we know that literature has become sort of a subject which is learned by people as a life skill. We learn about our life. So, this is my practical experience. Even though you analyze Jagan's character, maybe you write pages and pages about father and son's relationship. How many of you analyzed your father? Maybe your father's and your relationship. We are very good at writing and of getting marks. So that's sort of a very mechanical, materialistic. You gain something, you need to pass only. Yeah, true. You need passes. That's something. But why these sort of subjects are included in the O-level curriculum? Specifically, specifically to make you maybe soft human beings who can understand each other, who can read each other, who can be sensitive to others. So for that, of course, you need to start from your own place, right? Just you get A passes, but you won't understand your parent. That's sort of a problem, right? So therefore, I say literature is not a subject; it's a life skill. If you think in that particular caliber, you can get good passes. You definitely get good passes because when we see answers of students, we see the answers are very unique and they are with the emotions. Maybe two people write two different answers. Facts are same, but language, the presentation, the tone, how you see certain things, they are quite different. So if I get 10 papers, if nine people write one person's answer, like maybe teacher, otherwise a supplementary book, if not a video, you represent somebody else's answers in nine answers. But the next one, even though there are certain little mistakes, maybe language problems, maybe the structural problems, I prefer that answer because that is the expectation of teaching these sort of subjects in O levels. Therefore, it's quite essential to think about literature as a unique domain which can develop your personality. I usually say that bad people can't teach literature, bad people can't learn literature. You must have sort of, a pure heart, good heart, flexible heart, and so on. So that's sort of a must. And saying that, I turn into the novel. Why a novel is told? Why do you think that you must learn a novel? Maybe you say yes. If you like, you can send answers. I really welcome answers. I really like if you can speak to each other and speak to me as well. Speak to each other in the sense last year there was a kind of bad thing like people started bullying the others sending messages. I think that's we are adults by now, right? So we can understand situations, we can react to those situations in a way. So it's good to keep certain level of decency as well. This is certain ground rules for you to realize. And I told you the novel. What is a novel? Come on. Into me, it's like a society. Okay. Characters are there, surrounding is there, relationships are there, emotions are there. If you look at that particular novel as a society, we think that we don't have to rather go for classes as well because once you find a person next door, okay, you talk to that person often and you visit that person, you meet that person, maybe your parents say certain things about that person, neighbors say. With all this information, we try to understand that particular character. But in a way, if that character is printed in a book, in a novel, you need a teacher to analyze. That's a disaster we find. You all have that ability to understand people. You all have that ability to rather understand the emotions. Sometimes, in my case, sometimes I love characters in movies, in books, even though they are not live. Believe that they have life like us. Maybe you are analyzing some character, such a character will be there in your life as well, maybe in your family. If you think like that, it's it's nice to understand. It's nice, rather, it's a nice domain actually, nice area. We learn ourselves while getting passes. I always say that you should stay in moderation, right? You have to pass, maybe to get A passes, B passes, or whatever. But rather than that, you need to think about your life, how you understand each other. On the opposite, a learning life is not enough. You need to get the pass as well. That's what I said. I divide these four lectures into four different domains. First two are to discuss all these matters. Last, for exam preparation. Last two. So, in the vendor of sweets, I consider the vendor of sweets is considered as a society for me. So, I look at that society as an eagle. I fly around Malgudi. I pick people and I see people talk to each other, walk, and maybe having conflicts, having love, and maybe certain activities like education, making sweets. So, like an eagle, of course, you can walk around and see. Now, your mind must be an eagle, right? You should fly around and see what sort of a picture you have in your mind. Keep it in your mind, right? And before I start, want to do a little a warm up activity. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
I need at least one of
Yeah,
you to.
sir.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
sir.
Right. Um, I prefer if you can speak. Okay. In this warmer, I'm going to open up some pictures to you. Identify those pictures and quickly tell me these pictures belong to what literary text? And what can you tell about this literary text? What is the importance? So I need you to, analyze this and analyze these pictures. I'm going to show up some pictures, right? See, I mean, look at them, analyze them, and after that, feel free to speak in the forum. I have the first speech. Sorry, something went wrong. Now I'm coming back. My first picture is this. You can chat, otherwise you can open up and speak. I really love if you can speak. Come on. Can someone? Yes.
Sir, can you tell me again? I can't hear that.
Look at this picture and tell me from where it is taken in from your syllabus. This picture is connected to a subject, I mean, one literary text. What is this?
Twilight of a Crane.
Maybe if you can tell me your name. I can't locate you. Good. Who's speaking? Yes, keep on speaking, please. Arunia. Yes, it seems.
Twilight of a Crane.
Good, good, good. So then, what else?
It's a drama.
Good. And what are the characters with that?
Zoo, Unzu.
Zoo and the children.
Yeah.
Yes, Atif, Zoo
And children.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
children, right? No, I'm
Unzu,
asking
zoo.
the characters that you can see here.
Here, zoo is.
Zoo is there, right? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Right. What about this one?
Nightingale and the Rose.
Nightingale in the Rose.
Okay. Abhikes. I'm sorry about the pronunciation.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Yes, Nightingale and the Rose. Well, how did you know that it is Nightingale and the Rose?
Because of the
there's a
rose
rose.
and the
Because
dark
of the
black,
rose and what else?
the dark black roots and all.
Okay, good. Great. Yes, good. And I'm going to open up another one to you. Now what? Others, please take the chance. Speak. Your face is not seen. Now you can speak.
Is this
Yes,
from the
Arjun.
wave?
Come on.
It's from where?
Wave.
Wave.
Yeah.
Again, Abhikas. Wave. Why do you say that it is wave, Abhikas?
Because there's an album and a toy doll.
Album and the doll. Good. Why do you say that the album says something like that?
Album, it is
Maybe
it is after the tsunami.
after tsunami. Good. And is it connected to any other literary text? Maybe a poem?
Big
Can
match
you
not in H3.
Big match.
Big match, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, a good big match. Why do you say it is connected to big match? Give me one possible reason why.
Yeah, the
Because
background
both
looks
of
like
them are
ruins.
coming with a disaster.
Come on.
Because they are coming with a disaster.
Okay, coming with a disaster. Well done. And
Burn photographs.
come on.
Burn
Can't hear.
photographs.
Photograph, burn photograph. But I don't see a burn photograph here, but I'm really happy about your memory. Yeah, burn photograph. PETA is burning like a photograph. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Now you found a shared theme over there. Good. The next one.
The Bear.
The bear.
This is bad, but yeah.
I think it's a bear. The bear.
Yeah. You think or you're quite sure about this? I think you're sure about that when you see this scene. What is this scene?
When they said, I'm going to take the pistols, but you have to teach me.
How to shoot.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes. Who are the characters?
This.
Smyrna and Papua.
Yeah, Smyrna and Papua.
Yes, others too must get the chance, right, to speak. So another person, maybe Steve and because
Vendor sweets.
yes,
Vendor of sweets.
Vendor of sweets.
Okay, Swetali is good. The vendor of sweets. Good.
Yes.
Why do you say it is the vendor of sweets, not any other text?
Because of the Indian culture here,
Because of the Indian
because of
culture.
the lamps and all.
Any other evidence to see that this is the vendor of sweets?
The
You always see
representation
the
of
black and
Jagan.
white things in books now. So I have given you some colored ones. Yep.
Jagan wears a white jibba.
Jibba, white jibba, good. And what about others' outfits? Swetali, you
And
want to try?
about the grace outfit.
Mali's outfit.
Yes, their outfits are contrasting. Yeah, excellent.
This picture
Outfits are
represents
contrasting.
Mali's Indian culture.
Okay, yes. Race, good. Now,
Father and
A
son.
father and son.
Abikas, shall we give the chance to another one?
Yeah, sure.
Abhizana spoke.
Father and son.
Abhizana, what do you say? Why do you say it is father and son? Any evidence?
Because it seems that the father is advising his son.
Father is advising the son. Very good. Any other?
Once upon a time.
Excellent. Who said that answer? Andrea? I could not locate.
There was one in the checkbox.
Good. Once upon a time. Good. Any other? Why don't you think it is connected to the vendor of sweets? That's also a relationship. So that's why I say that literature is not only what we always see on top, right? Yeah, I've got a lot of answers to the chat. I didn't see them. Thank you. Very good. Very good. Very good responses. Thank you for responding. Yes. Now, once you see a picture like this, your memory is awakened, right? You see a lot. You understand a lot. You realize a lot. That's quite essential to see literature like that. Give me 1 second. Someone is asking the link. Sorry. Yes, again, I'm coming back. I'm back. Yes. Certain themes are, that's what I say, that the whole book, whole syllabus is almost like a huge society. You can see them on the road, next day, next door, maybe your school, your friends in your home. So all these are connected, well connected, right? So the next is,
The Nile.
To the Nile.
Nile.
yeah, very good, Kansa, very good, Saitali. And yeah, it says Nile. Why do you say it is Nile?
Because there's a river.
Yeah, you see a river, obviously. And is there any other reason why you say it is the Nile, to the Nile? When you carefully look at the picture, you can understand something very unique here in the picture.
It looks like a desert.
Desert is nearby.
One part is desert, the other part is more like,
Longest river.
yeah, forest green, and the other side is forest green, and the other side is more brownish, dry, arid. Excellent. Yes, what is this?
The Lahore attack.
The Lahore
Lahore
attack.
attack, very good. The Lahore attack, excellent. Why do you say that it is Lahore attack?
Because a bullet goes through the windshield, I guess.
Good. And this is the exact picture of Lahore attack. Is there any literary text that we can connect to this? Any other one other than Lahore attack?
Big man.
Terrorist he is watching.
Yes, big match.
The
Terrorist he is watching.
The terrorist is watching. Yes, destruction. Now you can see parallelly how certain themes, messages are interconnected. right? That's what I said that at the beginning. It's almost like a society. Like an eagle, you fly and see the society. So you observe all these, right? You see the similarities. At my place, next person's place, next village, next country. And sometimes we believe that foreign people are different. No, they are not different. When we study books, you see almost human feelings are almost same. It's quite essential for us to see that. Okay. What?
Travel to foreign
Travel to
country.
Bansta country.
Travel to Barn secondary. Good. Excellent. And what reasons are there for us to say that it is that poem?
It
There's a
looks like
barn.
farming place.
Mhm. Farming place. Excellent. Good. Farming. Mhm. Farming, otherwise pastoral. I just tell you, maintain a book. Otherwise, you can start up writing vocabulary, new words. Uh, the last page, right? Turn to that and write. So the pastoral outlook, Pastoral, pastoral, like village, agriculture connected to lifestyle. A pastoral lifestyle is there so that you don't have to tell a lot of words, right? If you know the exact word. Because of the pastoral background, we can imagine that this is that poem. Yeah, we can connect this to another one as well if you want. Can someone try? Because if you think one who is lonely, maybe that's not exactly connected, but he can think.
Clown's wife.
Okay, clown's wife. I really like the way that you think. Why do you say because it is clown's wife?
Because a person is alone.
Ah, desolated, lonely. Good. Any other?
Father and son.
Father and son. What is the reason you say that it's the father and son?
Because in that poem, the son
Come on.
wants to leave his house and find a new path.
Uh-huh. That's the reason. Okay. Great. Very good. Thank you very much. So I think that you did a good job in that. Very good. And I think that you have warmed up yourself running here and there of the syllabus. Good one. And think about such, activities to do. Right. Now we come into the business. The vendor of sweets. Write the name on top. Maybe that you have a book, otherwise you have maybe papers. Write up and think about the book. What is the topic? Why that topic? And so on.
Because it reflects Jagan's job.
Maybe, yes, good. Because of Jagan's job. Yes. Any other positive answers? Very good. I really like it. Any other?
Uh,
Yes.
in Jagan's life, he is not happy in totally, but it is just ironically it's connected to sweets, so we can assume like that sweet.
Excellent. That's a very good answer, right? Sort of critical answer. He's selling his happiness, maybe, right? If happiness is presented through sweets, he sells sweets means that he's not a happy one. Maybe, yes, good one, good thinking. That's what I call, critically imagining what's going on there, right? Otherwise, we write the same answer. I'm going to take you to one activity now, online activity. Hopefully you all can see this. Huh? So that this flowchart would tell us a lot regarding the novel. Yes, The Vendor of Sweets, the author is R.K. Narayan. It's a very simple thing to know. But when I click this arrow, we find certain information come out. He's born in 1906 in colonial India. Maybe you know, maybe you do not know. If you do not know, please send me a text. I can explain that to you. Always, the connection should be there with each other. We know that what is colonial India? Sri Lanka was also colonized, right? British imperialists, British colonizers came to Sri Lanka in 1815 up to 1948. Like they had their own rule. Even that is not ended even now. Some or the other, nominally we ended up in 1948. That time is called colonial time of Sri Lanka. After colonizers left Sri Lanka after 1948, in India it is 1947. After 1947, India means post-colonized India. Colonization is over. Colonization, post-colonization. So that Narayan was born in colonized period in India. I prefer if you can take notes. Huh? I'm going to send notes, but it's good to take your own notes. And this Narayan is noted as a tragicomic storyteller. Basically, we find that it's kind of combination of two different genres. In older time, we found tragedies and comedies separately. Comedies are to amuse people. Comedies usually have a happy ending. Tragedies have a sad ending. Happy ending, sad ending, right? So usually we know generally our life is not a comedy. Our life is not a tragedy only. Just for example, a lunatic person is dancing on the road. Initially, you laugh at that person. Initially, you laugh at that person. That is a comic part of it, right? But when you carefully examine, you can realize why that person has gone mad. When you come to know that story, it is almost like very sad one, right? So the combination of sad and happy things are there in our life. That's the most natural genre rather than having separate tragedies and comedies in literature. Usually, Narayan is more to tragicomic ones, tragedy and comic. Both the elements are there. Sometimes, just for example, in the end of the story, The Vendor of Sweets, the last portion of the story, the tragedy is father doesn't want to save Mali. He says, I'm leaving. I'm leaving everything. He's leaving with what? He's taking the passbook, bank book. That's the funny part of it. Sad part is separation of a relationship of father and son. Amusing part is the other. So these sort of things are connected in this novel. So we are going to discuss this further in the coming lessons. But still remember, this can be an essay question. Think about that. Actually, Narayan had Indian flavor, culture, especially Hinduism, Hindu outfits, Hindu food, relationships, especially when it comes to Ambika's character. The very first introduction of Ambika. And Ambika, when Jagan goes to see Ambika, how a beautiful bride appears in front of this Manamala, the bridegroom. So they are kind of very, very Indian ones. So Narayan, yes, he took Western examples, but moreover that he rather focused on Indian culture. He was in the nationalist movement. He has a nationalist movement influence. Nationalist means that freedom fighters. We come to know that Jagan had a touch of that as well. He was in that group. He was a freedom fighter. Then we go to the next summary, core themes. Here in the novel, we did core themes and principles. Often in the novel, we find certain principles discussed. Can you tell me what that principle is? You saw it anyway. I'm sorry. What's that often discussed principle? If you did not see.
Gandhian principle.
Yeah, you saw it. Anyway, thank you. Gandhian principles. How many of you know what Gandhian principles are? How many of you are curious about them? You say
Ahimsa,
yes. Come on, I'm sorry.
the Ahimsa way.
Ahimsa, yes, good. One is that.
A calm way. It's called a
Mhm.
calm way to success or achieve a work.
Uh-huh. Good. Any other? Any other? Yes.
Non-violent principle.
Non-violent principles. Good. Right. Yeah. Since this video is to be found in the group by the night or tomorrow, you can study this further. So these are the principles I say. Non-violence, ahimsa. There are a lot of, I have selected 5 here. Truthfulness, satya, self-reliance, swaraj, non-attachment, simple living. So now Jagan repeatedly says that he follows Gandhian principles. True that he follows ahimsa. I have a little doubt whether he follows satya. Why do I say that? At certain
He
places, we
uses
find that
leftover
he's.
food.
I'm sorry. Yes.
He uses the remaining to make new sweets in his shop.
Exactly. He's not truthful, right? Sometimes,
Yeah.
all sweets are put into one bucket and mix it up and make it, I give it a different outlook. So therefore, he says that he follows Gandhi, but what? Self-reliance, Swaraj. That's there with him because he makes things for him, like shoes, outfits, and all. But I have a little doubt whether he can manage himself alone. For example, in the case of son's relationship, he needs someone. He's not rather depending on himself. He does certain superficial things like clothes, shoes, and his own business. That's true. But on the other hand, self-reliance goes beyond that, right? Sometimes it's your integrity. Does he have it? Then non-attachment. Of course, they are. But what is a doubt? He's attached to money. And he's attached to the relationship with the son as well. Therefore, that he suffers. And simple living, yes. Why? It is profitable to him. Example, certain people are there, we don't eat all these, big things. It's not good for health because they need to save money. When they go to some other person's place, they eat. At their places, they don't eat. That's a funny part of it, right? They say we have simple living until when people come to their place. A little thing we prepare, once they go to some other person's place, they eat the food. So this is what that girl actually used the exact word ironically presented. Not the same thing. We are going to discuss them further in detail in the future. That she's rightly said it is ironically presented. It's not not the exact one. It's the other way around. Reality is the other way around. Then yes, these are the Gandhian principles. So in the now these as well. So societal shifts, societal themes, East versus West. Now this is the time that what do you call that? Uh, English people left India. This time is, even though Gandhi was born in the colonial period, this time is called the post-colonial period. A lot of examples are there to show that this is the post-colonial period. Okay, still we find Western experience in India, like the statue. What is the name of that statue? Lowly statue. And some roads like Memphis Street, Captain. All these are examples of Western. It says that remaining examples are there even though Westerns left India. And the best is America. He's going to America, coming back with grace and Actually, this is a time that East-West combination take place. That combination takes place, right? We can't live in one as one country, right? We need to mix up. So that we discuss. Then we talk about tradition versus modernization. The characters like Mali, the outfit, and the ideas like storytelling machine display that. Then colonialism versus capitalism. I discussed what colonialism means. It means that powerful nation captures another nation for their benefits and control. Capitalism means money. We know that all those days we considered America as a center of capitalism. Capitalism, not capitalization, I'm sorry. Okay, they believe that money can do everything. That is the American dream. So even though India was not a capitalistic country those days, now it is, yes. Now those days we did not find those sort of capitalistic mentalities in India, but there were people. One example. Can you tell me one example of capitalism in India? I'm going to guide you step by step with the chapters in the coming lessons. But for the moment, I will cover up the whole novel. But for the moment, use your memory and tell me. Tell me one place where money comes as something that controls a society. Come on. Come on.
The Jagan realized money can't buy happiness.
Yes. What is it? Svetali?
Jagan realizes that money can't buy happiness.
Excellent. Jagan was one example for the capitalism, but later he realizes money can't buy everything. And can you remember one example that he reduces the prices of sweets? That's also another example of that. Likewise, we get a lot. We discuss them in the future. Then we discuss generational conflict. Then main characters in the Jagan, Mali, the
So,
Casine,
so
Grace.
excuse me, sir.
I'm sorry, yes.
Can we get the clash of culture as a theme?
Yeah. We discuss them in the future. Yes, you need to, right? Now, here we find the ideas here, right? Tradition versus modernization means there are two cultures clash. So we are going to discuss them in details, right? These are kind of common areas. Hopefully you can understand that, right? Good question. Anyway, ask questions. I like it. Jagan, Mali, Kazin. Kazin is a different character. We all know that. Then more importantly, Grace. Considering the story, in a nutshell, the story started in a fictional Malgudi. What do you mean by fictional city? Fictional universe.
Not real.
Not real, exactly, Abdullah. Not real in the sense that we can't find them in Google Maps. No, we can't find them. So the writer makes that particular setting, filling all the requirements in that particular boundary. He feels all these there, right? If he needs these sort of people, he includes them. He needs these sort of houses, businesses, he includes them. So almost like a kind of like a specimen we make two exhibitions. There we find almost all the characters. In Sri Lanka also I found one teledrama actually. It was like that. It was not kind of a real setting. It was created setting. Then in this setting we find Jagan, a single father, widower, a son who shows tendency of being different. By and by, he shows a tendency of being different, right? He's not the normal child. Being not normal is bad or good. Always, adults say, be like that one, be like this one. But some say, no, I don't want to be any. I want to be myself. Being different is not bad. But in this case, we find that when we consider time and all, we find that even Jagan takes him as a critical character. Why is behaving like this? He says, I can't eat home cooked food. And he says, I can't go to school. He wants to write his books. It's kind of upside down version, right? Now we learned that idea in upside down, the poem. When someone must be up, that person is down. So society takes him as strange people, queer people. So that Mali, in the eyes of others, becomes a different one, strange person. So this evidently shows that the novel's conflict, the problem takes place because of that. Father doesn't understand the difference of the son. Then he moves to America. Next movie is that he moves to America. We know that there's a huge contrast between America and India, right? But now, of course, we find people are almost same. Americans live in India, Indians live in America, because the world is very little. The world is a village, a family now. But those days we found a clear contrast, and there was a conflict as well between these two countries. So America brings capitalism, modernization, sort of a different, rather contrasting outlook to the country India. Then we come to there in America, he meets Grace. Grace comes to India, and the storytelling machine comes as a next important move in the novel. The storytelling machine. So what is that? Storytelling machines are not really, they were not needed to India because India was a country with literature. The novel says Valmiki, the writer, that the father says that Valmiki did not have a machine to write. But in my case, even I too believe like that. But what is your suggestion now? Can we write stories through machines?
Yeah,
How?
AI generations.
Done. Done, right? Maybe R.K. Narayan saw the future. This sort of a conflict would come. How do you how do you define that now? We need to understand that, right? Realize how these novels see the world, the future of the world. You read Arthur C. Clarke's stories. He saw the world, right? He rather foreshadowed, predicted this is going to be happening in the future. So we learn them as well. Then we go to conflict over marriage. Marriage is something that we all know is, I say, traditional, and even my father said, I say, but I don't know what you would say. Now, many people decide not to marry. They prefer living together, and they have different names for them as well. In some areas in Sri Lanka as well, marrying is very traditional. So that if they want to be modern, they find a partner and stay together, living together. So actually, it is now. We discussed some decades ago. So the novelist presents that as well in the novel. Two marriages, maybe three marriages. Jagan's father's marriage, Jagan's and Ambika's marriage, and the other generation, Mali and Grace. How the concept changes. That's very important to realize, right? Next one is bearded man. Why he is important? Can someone tell me? Why bearded man is important? Does he bring any? I'm sorry?
He brings peace to Jagan's life.
Change to Jagan's life, yes. Sometimes when we meet someone, we believe, sure, he has come to do something good for us. Yeah, apparently we see that they're good. Good. But sometimes when you associate with them for a little time, like we know that they have some other expectations as well. Somehow or the other, Jagan meets this bearded man and realizes that there is a need for him. That need is to change his life. Let's discuss why Jagan does it. Maybe genuine, maybe not. It's kind of open question. I won't talk now. Then Jagan's retreat to nature. Jagan goes back to nature with the aid of bearded man, with the aid of his own choice that he goes there. Last is Mali's arrest. So these are the steps that we find in that big novel. The background, Mali moves, storytelling machine, conflict over marriage, bearded man, Jagan's retreat, and Mali's arrest. Mali's arrest comes as the closure of the novel. Then the last of this section, analysis aspects. We analyze society and culture in relation to the novel. Usually these are the areas that questions can be made. We can ask about the society. Culture, as one of you asked about culture clash. Then economic and profit. Why money? Ultimately, Jagan realizes money is evil. Okay. And profit. What is profit? Do you think that Jagan gets profit in his life? What is profit that he gains here? I don't think that he gets profit. We earn money for our children, not to put them into a safe and lock them with 2-3 keys. If children go bad, if they behave bad, no profit. Our profit is our people, children. So Jagan, in that scenario, I feel that he is a failure. Then we talk about politics. We find nationalist politics. And I need you to write down these two words. I'll try to type and send. Write down these two, macro politics. Macro politics, you can write them down. After that, we can discuss. And the next is micro politics. MI, it must be MI, right? Macro politics and micro politics. Macro politics means the politics that we can find in a country, like big politics, like the philosophies, parliament, elections, and so on, right? And even political conflicts. Micro politics means the politics that we can find in an amount, like husband and wife politics, you and your brother, maybe you and your sister, your dog and next door person's dog. Little things give examples of politics. A huge tree and a little tree. They fight for sunlight. Huge tree wins. One that he spreads a control over the other. These sort of micro things are there in novels. Now, when it comes to breakfast, the poem, we find micro politics of gender, male, female politics. Maybe male, female, right? It's not quite sure.
Sir.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, can you share about the macro politics?
Okay, because macro politics means the politics that we can find in the society normally, like written ones, philosophies, like presidents, ministers, parliament, administrative system, something like that. Big one that we can see, tangible politics. Micro means politics that we can find in every place.
Okay,
Example, okay, you understand that?
Yeah, sir.
Example, because if there are two people, like two friends, one is powerful, the other one is not. There's a politics.
Okay. Okay.
Generational politics are there. Gender politics. Gender politics means female, male, sex. Then family politics, right? So different types of politics are there. So in this novel, we get a lot of like Mali's Grace's politics, Ambika's and Jagan's politics, father, son politics. And what about Kasim? Kasim's politics. Kasim has a politic. And other shopkeepers and Jagan's politics, the commercial politics.
Yes.
Hopefully you understood that.
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, please speak, right? I really like when we speak to each other. Then we come to interpersonal relationships, like we know that relationships. Last is important. I need you to remember this word, intrapersonal, means in you, within. Intrapersonal means how you deal with your brain and heart, logic and emotion, right? Or intrapersonal means that emotions, almost all emotions like depression, jealousy, competition, dilemma, likewise, lot of. So this is the overview that we are going to discuss in these 4 sessions, right? So, so I've been speaking a lot. I'll give a little time to keep your eyes off. Only 1 minute, right?
Sir, I can't hear. Is there anything else?
Okay, guys. You're going to watch a video. Okay, you have an activity to do. Okay, once you see these pictures, once you hear things, please write down. Even if there is no order, please write them down. So I've named this video as Faith versus Son's Future, not the vendor of sweets. Faith, not the father's faith and son's future. So you're going to refer to the book, not in the reading mode. You're going to watch it now, right? So please write down. If there is anything special, please write down. I'm going to play it now. Okay, focus.
When your deepest, most cherished beliefs are challenged by the one person you love more than anyone. That's the dilemma right at the heart of R.K. Narayan's classic novel, The Vendor of Sweets. It's this incredible story about a father's unwavering faith crashing head-on with his son's big dreams for the future. So this book came out way back in 1967, and it drops us right into the life of a sweet seller, a man who follows Gandhian principles to the letter. His life is, well, it's peaceful, it's ordered. That is, until his son comes back from America, bringing all these radical, modern ideas with him. And just like that, everything gets turned upside down. It's a really powerful story, you know? It's about this one family's drama, but it's also about a whole nation in transition. So to really get the conflict here, we first have to understand our main guy, Jagan. We need to step into his world, a world built on, well, unwavering principle. Okay, so where are we? We're in Malgudi. If you know R.K. Narayan's work, you know this town. It's this amazing fictional place that kind of represents all of post-colonial India, which is wrestling with all this change. And right here, in the middle of it all, is Jagan and his sweet shop. And for him, he's not just selling sweets. No, he truly believes he's in the business of selling happiness. So what makes this guy tick? Well, Jagan's life is basically run by a super strict set of Gandhian principles. We're talking nonviolence, simple living, self-reliance, the whole deal. And for him, these aren't just posters on a wall, you know? They affect everything, from the ingredients he uses in his sweets to his belief in truthfulness. This code, it's not just part of his identity, it is his identity.
And here is where things get interesting. Because under that surface of simple living and, not being attached to material things, Jagan is actually a pretty sharp businessman. He has this secret stash of cash, a hidden reserve from his profits. A little bit of a contradiction, right? It's this touch of hypocrisy that makes him so complex and honestly, a little tragic, a little comic.
In this world he's so carefully built for himself, principles on one hand, contradictions on the other, it's all about to crack. And the person holding the hammer? His own son, Mali. And this is really the core of the whole story. You've got Jagan on one side, representing tradition, Indian culture, the hands-on craft of his sweet shop. And then you have Mali, who's completely dazzled by modernity, by America, and by this grand ambition to be a writer. I mean, they're not just on different pages, they're in completely different books. So the gap between them just keeps growing, especially when Mali announces he's quitting college. But you want to know how bad the communication is? Jagan doesn't even find out his own son is planning to move to America from Mali. Nope, he has to hear it secondhand, from his cousin, who's kind of stuck in the middle of this whole mess. Just shows you how far apart they've drifted. That distance, which was already huge, becomes a massive, uncrossable ocean when Mali finally does come back. He doesn't just bring luggage, he brings a whole new world with him, a world his father just can't wrap his head around. So Mali's back, but he's not the same kid who left, not at all. And he's not alone. He brings home a woman named Grace. She's half Korean, half American, and Mali just casually introduces her as his wife. Now you have to put yourself in Jagan's shoes. This is a man who believes in tradition, in arranged marriages, a foreign daughter-in-law, a marriage that happened where? How? It's more than a shock. It's like an earthquake shaking the very foundations of his life. And if that wasn't enough, then comes the big idea, something called a storytelling machine. What is it? Well, Mali's plan is to get American funding to basically mass-produce novels in India. Think about it. This machine is the total opposite of everything Jagan stands for. It's impersonal, it's corporate, it's Western, compared to his life's work of making sweets by hand. And of course, to get this grand plan off the ground, Mali needs something only one person has, his father's money. So with all this pressure from Mali, with this alien new world basically setting up shop in his house, you'd think Justhagen would fight back, right? Argue? Yell? Nope. He does something else entirely. He starts this very strange, very quiet retreat from his own life. In this retreat, it happens in these three kind of wild stages. First, he starts this bizarre protest. He just dramatically drops the prices of his sweets, which, as you can imagine, causes total chaos on the market. Then he has this fateful meeting with a mysterious master sculptor, this bearded man, who shows him a completely different way of life. And that leads to the final step. Jagan decides he's done. He's going to abandon his business, his home, all of it, and go chase a life of serenity. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the novel. And it's an ending that's powerful, but also really ambiguous. This is where Jagan's retreat, his new philosophy, gets its ultimate test. And then the cousin shows up with some bombshell news. Mali has been arrested. Yep, all those modern ambitions of his have landed him in trouble with the law. But Jagan's reaction? It's unsettlingly calm. He's totally detached. He's made his decision, and he's not getting involved. In fact, his response is almost chilling. He says, if he is in prison, he will be taken care of. That's the best thing that could have happened to him. Can you believe that? He sees prison as a good thing, a place where Mali will finally be looked after. And then, in one last really telling moment, even as he keeps his distance from his son, he does show this little flicker of something. He offers to buy Grace a plane ticket to go back home to America. And that's where the novel leaves us, with this massive, hanging question. By cutting himself off from everything, even his own son, has Jagan actually reached some kind of spiritual freedom he was looking for? Or has he just found a really high-minded excuse to abandon his family? The book doesn't give you an easy answer. And that's the point, I think. It makes us really think about the true price of living by your principles.
Okay, hopefully you found something important there. So you're going to get, receive that video as well. I'm going to send it soon after the class to you. To get an overall idea only, right? The whole novel is put into that video. So I'm going to discuss the summary of that with this. Right. If you miss anything, you know that you're going to receive the video. So don't worry, I get certain messages that some people have bad network, right? Don't worry, you get the video. So here, the topic says the vendor of sweets, a clash of worlds. So you can see, you can write down these terms. There's kind of nice words to include in your answers, right? Clash of worlds, the word of father and word of son. When we look at the father's word, you find that the color is different. When it comes to son's word, you find that son's word has different colors. You see that even the imagery given, they're quite different. Here we find manual spinner, like to spin the clothes and all. There we find a plane. We find machines there. So this is the basic contrast we find in the novel. You need to understand that first. So if you get a question, to write answers about the clash of worlds, otherwise clash of generations, clash of attitudes, Western and Eastern, you see the answer here. You find that father first is a follower of Gandhi. We have a little doubt. Next day we are going to further discuss whether he's a true follower of Gandhi, whether he's a true person that he always tries to prove. And next, that particular title says he lives by Gandhian principles, non-violence, simple living, and self-sufficiency. All right. And he's a devout and traditional. He adheres to Hindu customs, reads the Bhagavad Gita, and maintains traditional food habits. All these are exemplified in the novel. Next, we find that he seeks spiritual detachment. In the last part, we find that he's fine after chapter 7. We find that he goes to spiritual detachment. He believes that material world is enough for him, so that he moves away. So it is picturized there. I'm going to send this to you. On the opposite, we find, now you see the picture is cracked. This is what we call the novel. The basic principle of the novel is that our two generations are now detached, cracked. Okay, now that is why even at the end of the novel, we don't find the father and son are reconciled, resettled. That detachment is there. So when it comes to Mali, we find he embraces Western culture. Can someone tell me where do we experience that he loves Western culture than Indian culture? What is the
We
first
can
thing?
see.
Yes, I'm sorry.
We can see through his letters which he has sent to his father.
Exactly. But before that, can you tell me any other place where we find that he displays that he loves Western perceptions?
He never fancied walking.
Come on.
He never fancied walking.
In our,
He never fancied walking.
okay, very good. He rides a bicycle. Is it what that's something you tell, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Anadi. It's good answer that he rides. Okay. And yeah, he last part we find he buys a car as well. Any other?
The dressing sense of him.
Excellent. The outfits. You can write the word outfits. The contrast of the outfits. And next,
Wanting to eat outside.
come on.
Wanting to eat in the canteen.
Very good. I was waiting for that. Rejecting home cooked food. India has a very strong domestic culture. You can write down that word domestic culture. Strong domestic culture. People don't buy fast food. They usually cook, right? You know, it's kind of different as well, right? Many of the Jaffna students must know that, right? Your food and their food are quite very close to each other. I experienced it that Wembley maybe 2 weeks ago, like. Um, it was my 4th visit to Jaffna, so during this year, so that really enjoyed their food. They're quite different from the southern part of Sri Lanka. So that, yeah, somehow or the other, I saw the girls. Every girl brings food. They don't go to the canteen and eat. They had a little silver cup and they fill them. Put their own food and they ate because we still in Sri Lanka we maintain that food culture. But he rejects food. First is that. Second is, and after that, he says that I can't go to traditional schools. Going to traditional schools. He says, no, I can't. He says, I need to write. He needs to become a writer. He doesn't want to read what others have. He needs others to read what he has written. This is the flipped culture we find in Mali's character. And yeah, there are a lot of even relationship with grace and everything, right? Then we come to driven by capitalism, money. We find that he needs money, right? He's happy when the father gives money for him to buy food. And the second, we find that he's happy. Now he robs money, right, to go to America. And he nags the father, asking money. Continuously he asks money, which makes a crack between the father and son. Then he rejects traditional norms like domestic culture is rejected, education culture is rejected. And after that, we find that his rejection, otherwise his he breaks the marriage culture of India as well, right? So these two words are important. India had been a monocultural country. Monocultural, maybe whole India had a kind of almost similar culture. But when it grew up like, we find that it becomes multicultural. So here in the novel, uh, Narayan's protagonist, Jagan, is almost like a monoculturist. He lives in one culture, doesn't want to walk away from that as well. But when it comes to Grace, father is from somewhere, mother is from somewhere that she's leading a relationship with an Indian. And even she doesn't believe in these cultures as well. But after coming to India, Grace believes that, sure, this domestic culture is good. She experienced a certain concept called family. It's very important to see there, right? So Grace, Mali display this rejection of traditional norms. So throughout the video, we found these ideas. So once you get the video, please go through, watch it again until we meet next time. Watch it again and make notes, right? So let me sum up what we had been discussing today. Through different techniques, I presented these ideas to you. Narayan is a storyteller of a changing India. These phrases can be written, right? When I read somebody else's books, that I get a lot of different language. When you listen to a different teacher, those teachers use different language. So when you refer to them, you can learn more and more, right? Narayan is a storyteller of changing India. You know what changing India means, that we actually discuss them. And we discussed the nationalist movement and post-colonial anxieties where Narayan went through. And read this. And again, I highlighted Jagan repeatedly says that he is a true follower of Gandhi. At many places, he repeats that idea. He's a true follower of Gandhi. Then you can understand that, right? Whether he is non-violence, of course, yes, true. Truthfulness had a problem. Self-reliance, I have a little doubt about that. We discuss them in detail. Simple living, sharing with others, Sarvodaya, I have a doubt. And yes, it is repeated there. A non-attachment to material things, I have a doubt. Swadeshi, self-sufficiency, yes, true. So when considering these, we find, if you get a question, we find whether we can call that he's a true Gandhian follower. We have a doubt. So to tell that, you need to understand these. That's important. Does someone, do you think that someone needs to speak? If you have questions, you
So
can ask. Yes, sure.
I think non-violence is not matched to the Jagan,
Why do you say so? Explain that, please.
because Gandhi takes India from the British government by ahimsa, but
Yes.
Jagan uh, cannot restore Mali in the ahimsa way.
But see, could not hear.
Jagan cannot take Mali in his way.
So do you think that ahimsa doesn't work there?
Yes.
That's a kind of different thinking anyway, right? It means that without fighting, without conflicts, that we win things, right? Even loving person is winning someone, winning that person. So that here that doesn't work. Exactly, yes. But the thing is this, we actually consider Jagan's character, whether he is a violent person or whether he gives a good example of non-violence. As you said, he is like, he doesn't like conflicts. He avoids conflict with the son as well. So there, I feel it's something that I can call ahimsa that he practices. And again, at the time grace comes also that he doesn't show any violence, doesn't raise voice as well. So in that case, I feel that he is a follower of ahimsa. Then we go to Malgudi, the fictional universe. We discussed that as well. It's a self-contained world. So again, we can expect a question from that as well, why it is Malgudi. Self-contained means that everything is there inside, right? Its own landmarks are there, roads are there, lowly extension, lowly statue, all are there. So what Narayan needed, I included in that particular little background. A community where everyone's lives are intertwined. In Malgudi, everyone is connected. Now, this is the Bedrock Streets is one story only. There are some other stories connected to Malgudi days. So, all maybe Jagan's character is there, another story. In another story, maybe Jagan is not the important character there, right? So, he is just a sweet seller. Somebody else becomes a protagonist. So, all the characters are interconnected, like we are connected to each other in Sri Lanka. A stage for characters grappling with personal desires and societal expectations in a nation undergoing transformation. I need you to learn this word. A nation undergoing transformation. Nation is India, is undergoing transformation. Means a change. Amisto. Now, it's difficult to live in a time that change is taking place. Now, in Sri Lanka, we find the sort of time that we experience change. Right? It's not my time. It's not my father's time. It's your time now, right? There we find that time of AI. Sometimes, when we mark answers, we get representation of AI throughout. I don't know why. Then when it is kind of manual writing, like they can't write. I marked nearly 40, 45 assignments very recently. Almost all the answers were same, right? Not the brains of individuals. In the brain was AI brain. I don't know how it is going to be successful in the future. We use AI, but I don't know how you can totally rely on that. I have a little doubt. So that now that is why we have a little confused mindset, right? And we are grappling with personal desires. Amidst this transformation, personal desires of Jagan, Mali, Grace, and even Kazim, and their societal expectations, they are also presented in this particular story, taking Malgudi as a background. The topic. Can you read it silently? We discussed why I asked you to analyze the topic. Okay. And some of you said that actually, right? So I'm summarizing it. The man who sells sweetness. One idea may be distributing happiness. Selling sweetness means the positive idea is, I'm happy, so I distribute happiness. This sort of a question can come, so that focus, right? Otherwise, as one of the girls said in the forum, I have my happiness, so I distribute happiness, so I'm not happy, like what parents often do. Their happiness is distributed among the children so that children are happy, sometimes they are not happy. So there we find sort of a contradiction. Anyway, both the ideas are same. Both the ideas are really going with the story. First is a positive idea. Jagan distributes happiness. It becomes a little ironic anyway, right? Jagan gives happiness to the son, but I don't see that Jagan makes others happy. What do you think about that? Do you think that Jagan makes others happy? Come on.
No.
No, sir.
No?
No.
Yeah. Can you give me some examples? Some examples? I have one, but I won't tell it. Now you have crammed the book. Give us some
By
examples. Yes?
chasing the children who are staying to buy the for sweets for the less amount.
Exactly, yes. Children are flocking around the stall, but he doesn't want to make them happy. That's one good idea. Any other? You see that he's a miser. He doesn't want to, maybe he's a little close-fisted, that he doesn't want to distribute things, right? Share things. This novel is little ironic, where we find at a place that he reduces the price. We're going to discuss that. Good. So in this, we find, I have categorized chapters into them. Chapter 1 to 4, the breakdown of the traditional family structure. You can note down the breakdown of the traditional family structure. Now, by the time the novel is initiated, we find Jagan and Mali, they don't find that much of a clear relationship, very strong relationship. And by this time, we know Ambika is dead. In chapter 2, it says Ambika died because of negligence of the husband. Husband did not care much. And he was against Western medicine. One example of Western medicine in the novel?
Shaking of aspirin.
Yes, aspirin. And what does he do instead of that?
Ask her to fry margosa leaves in ghee.
Margosa, yes, exactly. So there we find he makes a contradiction between, and the other thing is that he is little egoistic. He believes that he knows everything, and doesn't want to treat the wife believing that he knows everything. This is what we call the micropolitic. We find the term micropolitics. I said he's a man, so that man controlling politics, male dominance is there. So he wants to practice male dominance in this situation as well. So, and after that, we find chapter 1 is Jagan's. Sweetmeat shop. We are going to discuss them in detail, right? I promise to discuss them in detail. Chapter 1, every detail. Chapter 2, every detail. Right? Now, still we are having the overview as promised, right? And after that, we find the second chapter is Jagan's domestic life, how Ambika died and relationship between Jagan and Mali and so on. It goes on like that, right? So by chapter 4, we find Mali had shown certain differences, certain tendencies of a strange boy, and goes on like that. And chapter 4, after chapter 4, we find that Mali goes to America. After that, let's see, up to chapter 4, we find somebody's microphone is on. There's a strained communication. Strain means not a easygoing one, problematic. Relationship between Jagan and his son Mali is revealed as distant and broken. So these are things that you need to note down. Strained communication between father and son. Next point we find in this section, chapter 1 to 4, is clash of values. Mali's values and Jagan's values. Jagan believes in domestic culture, Eastern medicine, but Mali believes the contrasting things. It says tensions surface over Mali's education, his modern aspiration to be a writer, rejection of Jagan's philosophies. Hopefully you find it clear here, right? Then the other one is secret departure. He robs money and Mali yearns. He has a desire to move away from India and he believes that America would serve him. Yes, then ultimately that he flies to America without even getting the permission of the father. So that is, those are the three important points we find in chapter 1 to 4. Part 2 of the novel, there are no physical separation in the novel, calling part 1 and 2, but for your study purposes, I made it like that. Unraveling part 2, the modern world arrives. After chapter 4, 5 to 8, we find that direct collision. The collision means a conflict, the Gatuma in Sinhala. Collision, the conflict. East and West, conflict between East and West. The word collision is much better than conflict. The modern part of the world appears in the novel from this chapter to the other, 5 to 8. Mali's transformation. He returns with a half Korean, half American girl. Jagan assumes that she's a wife, but she's not. Then the important point is the storytelling machine. Okay, the business that he brings, storytelling machine. So that you can see in the illustration how Western values crashed on the Eastern values. Then the other one is important, Jagan's retreat. Jagan believes that he's not going to stay here anymore. He's going to leave these and move to his own world. He has different now. For example, I remember in one of the schools, somebody said, no, Jagan, even I believe in that. Jagan did not have that much of a pure reason to go to retreat. He rather makes an escape plan because son is asking money. For example, if you keep on asking money from your father, maybe father leaves the house before you get up to, avoid you, to escape from your requests. Okay. The main reason is, now, symbolically, we can say the arrival of westernization crushes Jagan and he moves away. That's in some articles I read. Mali's graces and the attitude of storytelling machine, need of money, ultimately banishes Jagan. Jagan moves away. Rejection of Eastern values. So here we find the summary of 5 to 8. First and the second part is this. Third part, 9 to 13, Sorry that I have, this is also AI created, so the Lord Buddha's picture is not the correct one, right? But imagine that a statue, right? Don't believe that it's Lord Buddha. Since I'm a Sri Lankan, that AI gave me Lord Buddha, so please. The story's climax and Jagan's final choice. Detachment. Jagan's detachment from the sun, and disarray means a confusion. This confusion happens in the modern world. Sometimes, your grandfather would tell that to your father. In our time, it was very peaceful, nothing happened, and it was so good. Your father would also say, in our time, it's good. But you have a doubt. What is that good? In our time, we don't find that. Sort of a confusion everywhere. So it happens, right? When the world changes, we are also caught up in that. We becomes a victim of that particular change. Here, Narayan brings out that through these two characters. We find the confrontation. Strengthened by his new spiritual resolve, a new janma, he uses the term new janma, Jagan refuses to fund Mali's business. Can someone tell me what Jagan uses as an important quotation here? He says, uh, if I tell that you get it. Jagan says, I don't give money to you. Can you tell me that phrase that you can write in your answers as well? Come on. Anyone? 3 words starting with money.
Money is an evil.
Exactly. Money is evil. Money is evil. Believing that money is evil, that he believes he needs to move away. Next is a revelation. Confrontation. Then in chapter 9 to 13, we find revelation. Somebody reveals something. What is that? Grace and money's relationship. And it is not a legal marriage. He's ashamed of that because he's a Gandhi follower, an Indian, Hindu. In these cultures, we find that marriage is a sacred thing. It happens in front of God. Then the next one is arrest. Mali's arrest. Mali's arrested, keeping liquor in the car. And we ultimately come to know that because of his confused behaviors, that he ultimately is captured. And Kassim comes as a moderator as always, but the irony of the drama is Jagan rejects saving the son. Final act, Jagan refuses to intervene, firm in his decision to retreat. He goes to retreat, he says. He believes punishment will correct Mali. This is something important for you. And even it's a sort of good message as well our Narayan passes to everyone. He ultimately realizes spoon feeding and, keeping the son as a baby would not serve. So need to give experience. Ultimately, punishment would correct him. He arranges for his business to be managed and offers to buy Grace a ticket back to America. So it's a kind of positive remark we find here. Jagan realizes important things, realizes these people. He realizes that even Grace is a victim of this system. So he resolves to help her. Finally, detaching from his worldly affairs, somehow he too leaves and asking Kassim to take care of things. For example, if I go to a retreat, that I would leave everything. If I take my mobile and key of my car and go to retreat, means that won't be a retreat. So that sort of funny remark is there by the end of it anyway. So if you go back, the first section, unraveling part 1, widening rift. Rift is again the conflict. Breakdown of tradition, family structure and all. Next is East and West conflict. Last is final choice, detachment of the relationship and Jagan's final choice. So please remember these 3 steps of the novel. The characters in a nutshell, Jagan can be considered as a anxious traditionalist. He's so curious and he's so traditional. And when it comes to Mali, he's a modernist, but he doesn't have a root. This is sort of a very good thing for you to remember. Rootless man means he's not rooted there in America, he's not rooted here in India as well. One who has no proper identity, no proper root. Rootless people means that they don't have any tradition, any belief, any perception, any philosophy. They have their own things, but they're like gypsies. The Kassim, the voice of the community and traditional reason. Something important for you to remark. Kassim always, shows the voice of the society. How society sees this. How society would advise Jagat. How society would advise Mali. Okay? He represents that society, community's voice, the society's voice. He's a bridge in the communication gap. Bridging the gap between father and son, right? Grace, nice word, displaced victim. He's not in his own country. He's displaced. She's displaced rather. Caught between father and son, between cultures. He is actually sort of a suffering going on, right? That she's caught up in two different cultures, two contrasting cultures, father and son, tradition, modernity. She attempts to adapt. She tries to be flexible, right, resilient, but ultimately victimized by Mali's ambition and the patriarchal society she enters. Her plight contrasts with that of Jagan's late wife Ambika. This can be a question. Compare, contrast Grace and Ambika. Grace and Ambika. Who is free? Who is controlled? My question is for you. One is multicultural example. The other one is traditional Indian example. Who is free in this culture? Ambika or Grace? It's for you to think. Come on.
Grace.
Can you explain, please?
Because Ambika had to be inside her house to study and all, but Grace moves freely from America to India.
Exactly. Grace has a freedom to travel. But what about her mind? Is it free mind? Is it a doubt? She needed to acquire something, but ultimately what happens is she doesn't acquire anything. In my definition, I feel both the women are victimized under the powerful hands of men and tradition. If you walk back to Ambika's character, Ambika marries Jagan after a long process of bridal tradition, and after that marries Jagan. And again, the book in chapter 12, my most rather favorite chapter is chapter 12. Beautiful, right? It tells that how beautiful she was and how her honeymoon honeymoon went on. And there we find that Jagan is addicted to this woman. She's entrapped and she's domesticated at home. And he learns, but she doesn't learn. Okay, and he works, but she doesn't work. And she doesn't get conceived. Then there's a complaint that she's a barren woman. She's taken to Badri Hill and prayed for God, and ultimately she gets money. Similarly, we find that she gets a tumor, brain tumor, and ultimately she's not treated, so she dies. Then we can't argue even traditional Indian woman is free. Since this man is traditional, man's mind is traditional, male dominance, because of male dominance, that she too becomes a victim. On the opposite, if you think about Grace, what do you think about Grace? Grace she's some other, she's not from this country. And even she's mixed. right? She belongs to certain cultures and caught up with another dominant man. After chapter 9, we find Mali complains, says that she's not good in mind. She's insane. So I won't marry her. And even he's not interested in sending Grace back to threaten the father. Like he says, if you don't give money, Grace will go back. There is no work for her. Then I realized that both the women are captured by powerful men. Ultimately, they become victims. This shows something important. Ultimately, Jagan says, pay money for Grace's ticket. Maybe that is the self-realization of Jagan, even that he did something bad for Ambika, did something bad for Grace as well. So ultimately that he is going to purify his problem. So I believe you understood that part. Since you know tradition versus modernity, East-West, we discussed them. What do you mean by capitalism versus spirituality? If we come to this, capitalism is always connected to money. Spirituality means having your own philosophies. We can't touch that. We can touch money. Capitalism is materialistic, but spiritualism is not. And now I pass this chance to you. What are the places where we find this conflict, capitalism and spirituality? Over to you now. Yes, any example? One
Jagan has
is,
Bhagavad Gita.
that is spirituality. Good. Yeah, but still I find that he's collecting money in the same shop that he reads Bhagavad Gita, but he stuck money into beans and all, right? Yeah, that's there. In Jagan's need of change, going to retreat would be one example. We'll discuss that later. What do you mean by identity crisis? Who has identity crisis? Identity crisis means it's kind of very important part of the novel. It means that you can't say who you are. If we question Mali, is he Indian? He would say yes, but I have some parts of America. If you question if you are American, he doesn't have that answer as well. These two, I mean, Mali is lost between these two words. Okay, so then we say identity crisis. The person is suffering from identity crisis. It is there with Grace as well. Grace can't say who she is, what she needs. Okay, so before I wind up today's session, I would like to pass this question to you. A retreat or a failure to connect? Can you write down? I will give it in simple words. Indian Jagan leaves the sheer pressure of monotony of life for a tranquil retreat, calm retreat. He feels he has found what he needed, a detached life. What do you think about this? Does he do it faithfully or else why? How can you justify the end of the novel? Come on. So you're silent.
We feel that it's failure connect.
Come on, who's speaking there? Yes. Can you please? Can you give the answer again?
We feel that it's a failure connect.
Yes, Khansa. Can you be a little clearer?
We feel that this novel.
You feel not.
Yeah, we feel that it's a failure connect.
Huh? He's not, doesn't have that much of pure reason, right? Yeah, yeah. The chat says, some people chat and say, yeah, one answer is very, very important. It says Jagan goes away because he wanted to escape. He wanted to escape. Just for example, you ask money. Naggingly, I mean, every day you ask money from your father. Then father, when you ask money, father says, I have a headache. Every day he has a headache, but he doesn't have a headache. But he wants to escape from that. Otherwise, he meditates. Go away, I'm meditating. Always, you can't capture your father to ask money because he's always doing something. He's maybe preoccupied. So with all this, we realize that Jagan's final act has a reason. It has a cunning reason as well. So that keeps a full stop for that presentation. I would like to ask you to write down these. Number one, question number one. You need to search more and find out these. What is Malgudi? What is Malgudi? Number two, the importance of the first part of the novel. It means chapter 1 to 4. The importance of the first part of the novel. Next one, importance of the second part of the novel. Next question, importance of the third part of the novel. Next question, how does a writer show that Mali is growing up to be a different boy? Mali is growing up to be a different boy. Next one, discuss the transformation of Jagan's character. The transformation of Jagan's character. Okay, once I send the videos, you need to refer to them. Soon after the class, I will be sending them to you. Watch them again, and please make sure that you read them. I mean, you write answers for them, right? So that keeps an end to that class.